And welcome back to Houston Newsmakers. I'm joined by MJ Hegar, candidate for U.S. Senate. And Ms. Hegar, Senator Cornyn's ads label you as being too liberal and too wrong for Texas, and said that you get a lot of your money from California and New York, and that makes you unfit for this job. What are your responses to that?
Well, I have a couple responses. I grew up here. I share Texas values with my friends and family and neighbors. I voted for John Cornyn in 2002, so I don't think he knows what he's talking about, but he has a very comfortable relationship with the flexibility of truth, I think. But, you know, some of his ads have been given 4 Pinocchios by the Washington Post, for example. So, you know, if we want to talk about where money is coming from, we should have that conversation. It's actually one of the big reasons I'm running against him. He is the Affordable Care Act repeals top salesman, has voted against that 20 times because he's received nearly $2 million from the insurance industry. He votes against bipartisan immigration reform because he's one of the top recipients of private detention center money. I mean, he doesn't want to have this conversation with me about where the money comes from, but we are so proud of our grassroots team. We've outraised him 2-to-1 last quarter. In the last filing period, I think it was even higher. We've done that with an average online donation of $23. We just have hundreds of thousands of unique donors that are banding together and standing together and saying, yes, there are powerful people propping up his campaign, but we're more powerful because there's more of us small dollar donors than there are of them. You know,
for years and years, Democrats have been saying, you know, this is the year that the state's going to go purple or blue or what have you. Are you getting a sense that that's going to happen this time, or is Texas not quite ready to go to the, quote, liberal side of the agenda, if you will?
I don't know. I think the conversation about whether or not we're going to win our race, Joe Biden's going to win 38 electoral votes from us, and we're going to flip our state house, is a little different of a conversation than if the state flips blue. I think flips blue means that Democratic candidates have an advantage, and I don't know that that's going to be the case. I think that we are, as Democrats, going to have to fight and work for every single vote. We have decades of propaganda and lies to try to start to unravel and to show, for example, we have to show rural Texas that we are fighting for access to education and healthcare, which is their lifeblood. We need to show the energy industry that we are fighting for them, that we have lost half of the energy industry sector jobs since 2014, that John Cornyn fighting for his big oil donors and for CEOs is not in the best interest of how we make sure that Texas leads in the energy industry. Energy workers in Texas don't want to lose their jobs, and they see the writing on the wall. They want to lead in that next chapter of the energy industry. And so, you know, we've got work to do, but as long as we're willing to do that work, we're willing to raise the resources it takes to talk to voters, then I think Democrats can be successful in Texas.
So what do you think the biggest issue over the last term of John Cornyn was, his biggest mistake, and what will you do differently?
That's tough to say. I mean, he's made a lot. I would say it has to be his response to COVID, saying things like unemployment insurance was a mistake. That means he just doesn't understand what it's like to be out here trying to keep food on the table, that somehow people who aren't working are lazy. It's not because our economy is crumbling, and that this pandemic has been the handling of it has completely fumbled with no crisis management, not centering the handling of the public health aspect, encouraging people to wear masks. He has downplayed the pandemic. He spread misinformation about our kids. That's something I'll never forgive. When he in July said that we didn't know if kids could get COVID or spread it, there were over 1,700 positive cases of kids with COVID in Texas. So, you know, there are many mistakes, but I would argue his failure in 18 years, a third of that time, by the way, he likes to point fingers at Democrats. A third of the time he's been in office, he's had a majority in the White House and the Senate, or the U.S. House, the Senate, and the White House. So, you know, he should have been able to get the things done he was promising in 2002 that, by the way, he's still promising now. His single greatest mistake is not fixing healthcare. It is allowing Texas to stay 50th his entire time in office, and I intend to see that remedied, but not the way that he thinks. You know, he's talking about socialized medicine. I'm talking about choice. I'm talking about having a public option, adding to your list of things you can choose from, buying into Medicare.
30 seconds. You've got that guy on the elevator, and he just doesn't know how he's going to vote, and you got 30 seconds to close the deal. What do you tell him?
I tell him that we are facing enormous challenges right now, but that it's going to take somebody with my experience to go and meet those challenges, somebody who has integrity, who's a proven servant leader, who has taken on large-scale change, in the past and been successful. I went to D.C. I built broad bipartisan coalitions as a private citizen to open hundreds of thousands of jobs for women in the military. And I would ask that person before he stepped off to stand with me and vote for me. And together we can go to D.C. and show these soft politicians how we do things in Texas.
Ms. Hegar, thank you. Thank you for your time today, and also thank you for your willingness to serve the people of Texas and the United States. Good luck. Be safe on the campaign trail, and we'll talk to you down the road, okay?
Thank you so much. You too.
Just want you to know, I invited Senator Cornyn to appear on this program. His staff accepted, then very late in the week said he had a conflict and couldn't do it. He has an invite for next week should he decide to do so. Just ahead, former KPRC reporter in her battle with breast cancer. Now she's turning that challenge into an online platform she hopes will help others. That's next.